Bangladeshi car chopper Lipu Aulia is on a mission.
I will be the greatest car designer in the whole world.
He and Cockney Motormouth mechanic Bernie Feynman and their crack team of panel beaters and mechanics are building a supercar for French football superstar David Ginola.
Because I'm worth it.
Car-savvy David wants a Chevrolet Camaro-ish motor as a present for his son's birthday. So Lipu has already started off by fusing exotic and muscle car designs for this creation.
Beauty and the Beast.
They've successfully road-tested the new supersized wheels and adjustable suspension.
What a nice handling, Vern. Look at that.
And although it passed with flying colours, it's sadly lacking that all-important grunt under the bonnet.
I think faster black taxis.
So the pressure's on Bernie to make the engine roar. That's Mr. Ginola's key requirement.
If we can't come up with the goods, all I can say in French is Je suis.
It's only 3 weeks till David Ginola's son's birthday, by which time this patchwork metal monster must be transformed into a supercar.
At the moment, all we really look like, we've got a bastardised Porsche.
And it's not just the look of the car that matters. Bernie knows upgrading the engine will be a big challenge in the timescale, and he's well aware it's top of their client's wish list.
Under the bonnet must be some horses.
And after the road test, Lipu too is gagging for the car to have extra power.
It's got all the beauties but no beast.
Right before Bernie can get his hands on the engine to start beefing it up, Lipu is keen to finesse the design. Bernie ain't happy.
I'm sitting here getting more and more frustrated. I know Lipu has to get the car done. He's over it like a bloody rash. But we can't get near the thing. I've got 3 weeks to get this car finished. And he's still doing the bodywork even now.
Test drive went well, but with chopped up wings, quarter panel, we just tacked it just to go to the test drive. Now we have to put everything back together, weld everything nice.
Lipu's well aware that everything must be beautifully finished, because this client is a perfectionist with very high standards.
Ginola will go for every little detail on this car, and I'll have to make up for it. I'll have to make him happy. It's got to be a beauty and the beast. Not just a beast alone, not just a beauty alone.
Today the car goes to the paint shop.
Put a piece right here.
But after the welder still has to finish off the detailed bodywork so that there are no gaps when the filler is applied to give the car its final lines.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's too much welding for one person.
It's not just the schedule that's punishing. Welding sparks can be hazardous, particularly in delicate places.
I've got one burn on my dick.
He's so new to the operation that he doesn't realise that the chop shop team don't do sympathy.
Well, sometimes it happens.
Stop laughing, it's not funny. If you're welding and you're sitting down sort of thing, it lands in your lap, it gets through your fries, everything, there's nothing you can do. I've done it loads of times. Just got through to my boxers and yeah, shit happened.
Lipu's only got a couple of hours until the car goes to the paint shop, and it's touch and go whether or not he'll make the deadline. Coming up, Lipu can't control the rebel in him, and as usual, ignores the client's wishes about the colour.
The stripes, he wanted white. No. No.
And Bernie's attempts to convert to a manual gearbox turn into a nightmare.
The shaft is stuck on the flywheel, so that is going to be one major problem getting it out. First impressions?
The chop shop is making a Camaro-style car for David Ginola.
I like the car because it's very low and it looks very aggressive, very sporty.
But as yet, Bernie and the boys still haven't made the beast's engine roar.
But we can't get near the thing. He's still doing the bodywork even now.
There's just 2.5 weeks to go until the reveal in the south of France. It's Lipu's last chance to finish his design before the car is painted.
Of course, it is a good feeling because I'm really happy and satisfied with the design. That's it. That's the car. That's the car you really wanted. That's why it's satisfying, happy. Wow!
When Mehmet comes to pick up the car, Bernie and Lipa are reluctant to let their baby out of their sight.
Mehmet, this is the baby. Take care of the baby. You know what happens if you don't take care of the baby? You'll have the parents coming up and giving you some real problems. So look after the baby.
Oh no. Leave it to me.
Body works lovely, all the design's really nice. Really looking forward to it coming back. Yeah, looking forward to it.
The car makes it to the paint shop and, after filling, gets several coats of black primer. While she has her makeover, Bernie has a brainwave. He thinks he can improve the performance by converting its transmission from automatic to manual, using the red Porsche as a donor car.
Last time David Ginola was here, he was quite specific. He doesn't want a car that looks... And it ends up being... It's the first thing we've got to try is to be able to convert David Ginola's Porsche from automatic to manual to get him some more horses.
High-performance cars have manual gearboxes so that the driver can get the maximum power from the engine by deciding when to make the gear change. Automatic transmissions select the gears for you, so it's difficult to drive fast.
We're hoping to do is use this car as a donor car for the other Porsche 944 that we have. And they take the manual gearbox out of this, which is actually in the back, which is an unusual setup. The reason it's in the back is for weight distribution. It's supposed to be 50-50, but hopefully with all the bits we got on this car we can make the conversion work.
Lee knows the transplant will improve the car's performance.
You can drive a car through the gears a lot better when it's manual, and you can hold on to the revs a lot longer, which in turn makes it quicker. On an auto, you have to wait that for what they call a kick down for it to change gears, and you get sort of a delay. You don't get that with manuals, just straight on. Off we go.
If this works, things are going to be really helpful for us to get the horsepower. But if it don't, it's plan B, and we don't know what plan B is yet.
Straight away, they run into problems. The bolts are refusing to budge.
They've never been out before. They're all rusted solid, and it's just making things extremely, extremely difficult.
While Bernie sorts the transmission, Lipu goes to the paint shop to discuss the car's colour. Of course, the client had his own ideas.
I want it black, but matte.
Matte black.
That would be nice.
That would be, yeah.
With white stripes would be perfect.
Lipu didn't look very convinced then.
How you guys?
And he still isn't now. He's determined to make his own mark.
Ginola wanted a matte black. Okay, it's fine. Good, goes with the beast impression.
Oh, it's gonna look good.
But the stripes, he wanted white. No. No. It's gonna be metallic stripes. Chrome, shiny chrome paint. Beautiful. That's gonna be the beauty on the beast. That's my car, it's my design. I have honored him with the color, matte black, but stripes are mine. That's gonna be shiny chrome, that's all.
Back at the garage, the boys finally get the gearbox out. But that's only half the battle.
Down we go.
Okay. We don't know if the gearbox is in good nick or bad nick. We don't know if it's had a new clutch, things like that.
Hopefully it should be fine. Until you drive the car, you ain't gonna know.
Next day, and Ginola's Beauty and the Beast car is back from the paint shop. The team's desperate to see the final result.
Hello, Mummet.
Proper matte, isn't it, man?
It's matte.
Don't like the matte black. It don't look right, I don't think. It needs a shine to it on this car especially. Might change my mind once we start fitting up. I've changed my mind on all of the cars when we fit it up, but this just ain't doing it for me at all at the moment. So horrible.
It's what That's what David Ginola wants, obviously, but I'm not 100% on it.
Whatever they think about it, there's work to be done putting more horses under the bonnet.
It looks like a muscle car now. Should give it some muscle.
Let's give it some welly, my son. Let's get it in and see what we can do with it.
It's going to be a real challenge not to damage the paint at all. Should have really done the mechanical before it got painted, but obviously it's chop shop and everything's back to front.
Now they can get to work swapping the transmission from automatic to manual.
Well, basically, the plan is to get that into it, but it ain't as easy as that. There's a lot more we've got to do.
With such an interesting transplant operation taking place, even panel beater Julian is getting excited.
Trying to drop the axle, not all the way off, just a little bit, so it swings down, so we can get the box out, basically. Because with the axle in place, the box won't come down all the way. Whoa. Fucking heavy, mate.
But there's something stopping the axle from coming free. Any ideas, anyone?
I fucked up and I didn't take the handbrake cable off first, which I should have done. And it's a bit difficult because it's on a ramp now, because trying to get it up and down, and Bernie's underneath the car. He's in the way as usual. I think he's having a wee in a bucket at the moment.
You going toilet, but?
Heroic Lee attacks the problem head on.
Lee does things the fast way. He's got to take off the handbrake cable from inside the car.
I've got the most confidence in the world for Lee. That's why I'm standing back.
But even from this angle, the cable won't budge.
I'll catch that, buddy.
I trust you too. There's a sleeve in this, Jack.
Thank goodness for Julian's gentle approach to the problem.
Mechanics, look. A couple of seconds, that's it.
The automatic gearbox is now hanging free at the rear end, but at the engine end, the spline of the drive shaft is stuck solid.
I needed results to hammering in, they always do.
This is mega stuck. The shaft is stuck on the spline and it's also stuck on the flywheel, so it won't separate. So before we go home, what we're going to do is spray it with some releasing fluid and hope in the morning it's going to come off. But realistically, at this moment in time, if that is stuck, that is going to be one major problem getting it out.
Bernie's using penetrating oil that he hopes will separate the fused surfaces.
So leave it soak overnight.
Just before they shut up shop for the day, the master designer comes back to check the final paintwork for the first time.
It's a beast, man.
Don't lose any of this.
It's looking, man. Listen, this is a new concept of painting. Matte black. That's the beauty, man. And now the rest of the beast, beautiful. That's got a nice art to it. You know, it's an art. It's an artwork. Very nice.
The next day, with renewed resolve, the boys turn up for work ready to shift the seized transmission, come what may.
This bugger's coming out, one way or t'other.
The penetrating oil didn't work, so it's on to Bernie's plan B.
Realistically, it's still seized, so we're going to take the whole lot out with a drive plate on. I think that's about the only way we're going to really do it, because it is seized. It's going to be really heavy, but I can't really see any other way of doing it.
It's just stuck. Okay.
That is well heavy.
It takes 5 people to carry the gearbox, torque tube and clutch assembly.
Anyway,
Let's put it down.
And even then they're struggling.
this is the manual gearbox which we're going to put into this David Ginola's car now. In other words, we're converting it from automatic transmission to manual transmission. We bought a brand new clutch as well, and that should give us a lot more increase in power.
So Bernie's gone for a 944 turbo clutch because the torque rating's a lot higher than the standard 944. So uprate the clutch as much as we can.
But before all that, there's something that needs to happen first. So it's round the corner to Lee's mate to sort it out.
Got a fuse you up to your set, Lee? Yeah.
The Porsche's outer toothed ring of metal, called a ring gear, doesn't come with the new clutch, so it needs to come off the old one.
If you just heat up this one section here, it releases the outer ring from the assembly, and then you just hit it with a hammer and it should just fall off, because once the outer ring's heated up, once it's expanded, it's obviously bigger than the hole it's sitting in. Yeah. And when this shrinks down, when it cools down, it will shrink and then it will form part of it. So when a starter collects onto it, it will spin that engine round.
Simple as that. Now the clutch assembly is ready to go back into the car.
Like this, really heavy, and the ramp's a little bit high.
Many hands make light work, and very soon this is going to be a manual Porsche.
We ain't on there properly, lift it up at the back.
Hopefully.
Push in. Push in.
It's in.
It's in. The transmission tube's in. That's just the start of it. Now we've got to line up all the brackets from here and secure that. Put the complete rear frame back. Change over all the pedal box from the automatic to the manual. Put in all the clutch hydraulics.
Lee's happy they've made the conversion, but he knows it won't be enough for his boyhood hero, David Ginola.
Now that we put this manual transmission in, I'm a lot happier that it's going to drive a lot better now. It's going to make it so he can hold the gears up longer, go up to the red line, and it'll make it drive a lot faster. But I'm still not convinced that it's going to be fast enough for him. I think we might need to look into some other way of making it quicker.
Bernie's been busy all weekend, fretting. He knows that the engine won't provide the extra horsepower he's looking for, even though they've done the manual conversion.
I now need to really look into superchargers. I've been reading up a lot about them. There's some good companies. I've been speaking to a lot of people. So, you know, I'm just researching it now. Right, here we are, superchargers. Supercharger is an air compressor used for forced induction of internal combustion engine. Well, I found a company in Denmark. They manufacture these superchargers. They do complete kits for any car. So really, it's ready to bolt on. So I am well pleased with that. I'm going to contact them now.
Superchargers are common in America, but not in Europe. Bernie's found a company in Denmark that specialises in manufacturing and developing them. And he's come to Copenhagen on a fact-finding mission.
It's peeing down with rain. I need windscreen wipers on my glasses. Copenhagen, the place, The Little Mermaid, smorgasbord and superchargers. And I've come over here. I am soaking wet, pissed off. Don't know where the hell I am. No one speaks bleating English. I'm starving, hungry and bleating cold. Other than that, I'm having a great time.
So, forgetting about the supercharger, Bernie's off to warm up and see if the local food's as good as in his local Greasy Spoon in Bethnal Green.
So this one is...
herring.
And that one?
Herring. Herring.
That's...
herring.
That's...
herring.
That's...
herring.
That's...
herring. 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 That is herring, but warm herring.
Now you can have any herring you like. Hot herring, cold herring, as long as it's herring. I'll tell you so, if I had any more herring, I'd be swimming back to the UK.
After his herringy pit stop, Bernie heads off to meet accounts manager Bass and technical expert Alan.
Bernie, pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you.
At the factory where they've been building superchargers since 1996.
This is our production facility. This as we're going to use it on your car, Bernie. With a supercharger, it's quite an easy drive. You drive it directly from the engine, from the crankshaft, by a belt, through this pulley. It basically is a centrifugal supercharger, as we call it. And as you can see, it's not much bigger than an average alternator.
And it doesn't weigh anything. This is the greatest thing. This reminds me of one thing we used to call years ago a pocket rocket.
Yes.
And this is what this is. This is a pocket rocket. But this is going to give me how much brake horsepower on that engine?
It's got a standard 160.
It's 162. Yeah. 162, 163.
Yeah.
Four-cylinder.
With this unit, spinning it at average boost, you will achieve 240, 250 horsepower.
250?
Yes.
Just by putting this thing on?
Yes, correct.
To prove the theory, Bass lets Bernie loose with the factory demonstrator. It's a Ferrari F430.
It's been a long while since I took a Ferrari.
Normally, it would have 490 brake horsepower, but with its twin superchargers, it reaches an unreal 700. Could this be the best solution for getting David Ginola's extra horses? Bernie is giving it a whirl.
Evel Knievel of Bethnal Green in a Ferrari F430. When you put your foot down on this, it is totally and utterly frightening. Yeah, I tell you something, the old butt cheeks clench a little bit there, but you're getting used to it. There's just this whoom, this whistle, just like a jet coming in, and you put your foot down. As you put it down, it's there. There's no lag, there's no delay, there's nothing. And I tell you something, it's worth coming over to Copenhagen, because if our Porsche goes anything like this, with a supercharger in it, I will be stoked. Absolutely stoked.
Bernie's hooked. A supercharger is definitely what the Porsche engine needs. And amazingly, after all those fish for lunch, Bernie fancies a couple of donuts. Coming up, the supercharger conversion turns out to be not such a quick fix.
It looks like it's going to be a really late night. It's getting a bit cold, but I don't mind. Can't wait to see the potential power out of it.
And will the 20-year-old engine survive such a huge injection of power?
It's just like giving Viagra to a 90-year-old.
French football superstar David Ginola has commissioned a Camaro-like car for his son's birthday.
That's got a nice art to it, you know, it's an artwork.
But he also needs it to shift.
Under the bonnet must be some horses.
So Bernie has decided to try a bolt-on supercharger to turn Lipu's beauty into a beast.
There's just this whoom, just like a jet coming in.
Back home, with only 7 days to go until the car reveal, Bernie's heading out of town to see a specialist supercharger fitter.
David Ginola insisted on two things with his car: subtlety, power, and most of all, class. And what can we do more class and more power, realistically, than a supercharger? That probably increased the brake horsepower between 50 and 65%. That's going to really, really give it a sting in its tail. We want something that's going to go, whoa, 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 whoa.
A specialist conversion like this needs to be handled by experts. Managing Director Andy is looking forward to the challenge.
Let's just hope we can get some power out of it to match the muscle car look.
I've never dealt with superchargers, so I'm quite interested about it. I want to see how it works, you know, they fit on and things like that. It's going to be a really, really good day, I think.
It's purely like an operating theatre here. I mean, we have all the nurses over there having a look at the patient. They've got all his chest open. You can actually see right the way through the rib cage. We've got all the specialist instrumentation here. I wouldn't like to think what that does, but it defies logic.
Before they can fit the supercharger, they need to upgrade the fuel injectors.
Basically what we're doing is changing the injectors. For larger injectors, the old ones are about 200cc, these ones are flowing between, I think, 300 and 400. There's the amount of fuel that flows per minute. With that, obviously, you can run more air. With more air, you need more fuel. Obviously, greater combustion makes the car go faster.
Every boy racer, things like that, would love to have a supercharger on their car. And we're actually making a dream come true for David Ginola, and it's really nice. Can't wait to see the potential power out of it.
But the whole operation is taking much longer than they expected.
We've been here for the whole day, and I'm finding it really, really interesting, because I've never done a supercharger, things like that. It looks like it's going to be a really late night. It's getting a bit cold, but I don't mind, because I'm learning. It's really, really interesting work. Really interesting, and the boys really know what they're doing. It's learning. It's always good.
Bernie leaves the specialists to it as they work into the night. The next day, after sleeping on it, Bernie realises there is a major problem to deal with. Having such a super-powered car will require super-powered brakes to make it have a super-powered stop.
Got you, bastard.
Without good brakes to stop it, the car will be deadly to drive.
Quite honestly, I think they're very, very under par, those brakes. We want to uprate them. So the disc which we're going to put on are not going to be plain like that. They're going to be cross-drilled, right, and also have the grooves in, which obviously repel any brake dust and also repel heat. And also we're going to have a different type of caliper. So the modification they're going to do will uprate the brakes. We'll get about another 50% in overall braking, which will make the car 3 times as safe.
He's removing the front and rear hubs from the scrapped red Porsche as a template for the brake manufacturer.
We're having the calipers done in silver, and with the cross-drilled brakes on there, it will look superb. Absolutely beautiful.
Once the supercharger and brakes are fitted, Bernie will road test the car again to make sure it's safe.
So I'm on my way now to go and see a brake specialist, someone I know, someone I trust, who can sort these brakes out. Let's be honest, you can be the fastest bloody car in the world, but if you can't stop, it's bloody lethal.
Bernie explains his concerns to managing director Jeff.
What else we've done on the car is we've converted it now, we've put a supercharger on it. What I've got is a superb car with immense power, but I ain't going to be able to stop.
We're going to give you brakes that's going to stop this car so fast you won't believe it. This car is going to stop on the 6 months.
That is music to my ears.
The brakes are machined from scratch, but should be ready by the time the car returns with its supercharger fitted and working. The next day, Bernie's off to check up on the progress of Ginola's car. He's keen to find out what power has been injected into the 20-year-old Porsche engine, which previously had just 163 brake horsepower. The car's on a rolling road, connected to a computer which measures the peak power developed by the engine. This is the exciting moment where Bernie will discover whether he's got enough extra power to impress David Ginola and get him to accept the finished car.
This is a power graph, Bernie, for the car. We were aiming for like 240, 250 horsepower.
Which would have been superb.
Superb. But then we started playing around with the boost and we got it up to 268. And now, after another day of playing and sorting out a few other issues, we've managed to get 292 horsepower.
292?
Yeah, horsepower, which is a lot more than what we expected.
I cannot believe what you've got out of this thing. You've done me proud. You've excelled anything in my wildest dreams. Andy, seriously, mate. I'll give you my hand and I'll give you my respect.
No problem.
Bernie's thrilled. This is the most powerful engine the Chop Shop has ever built. It's truly a beast now.
292, holy. We've created a monster. I'll tell you, that's got so much power, I reckon that'll go like that, up the bleeding Eiffel Tower. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Desperate to show Leepu their new high-performance animal, Bernie bombs back down the M4. But suddenly, disaster strikes.
Driving down the motorway, all happy, going towards London. Guy pulls up beside me, goes to me, pull over. I thought, we've got a flat tyre or something. I pulled over, he says to me, got a lump of your car just falling off on the motorway. There it is. I found it. I've got it. Oh, fucking hell. Everything goes from bleeding bad to worse. Now the fucking roof's come off.
The once beautiful paintwork that Leepu had scheduled so early in the build is ruined. Parts of the car's bodywork shouldn't be flying off like that. Their schedule and budget don't allow for this sort of accident.
The boys are going to go apeshit and Leepu's going to bloody kill me.
As Bernie nears the garage, he decides that, with Leepu, discretion is the better part of valour. Or lying, as it's sometimes known.
I ain't going to even say anything. I'm going to tell the boys to get the car off the trailer, get it inside, and then see what he says. How you doing, man? Right, yourself?
It looks great through the viewfinder. Oh, man, look at that.
Mesmerised by the look of his creation, Leepu doesn't even notice that there's something missing.
I need a wide angle, man. I don't know if they put a little chicken heart in there, and I don't know how it performs. It might be up a little bit, but needed a really powerful something inside under the bonnet.
But sharp-eyed Sean soon spots a flaw in the aerodynamics.
Gaze, where's the sunroof gone?
What?
Where's the sunroof gone?
Where's the sunroof?
A little bit of an accident. Hang on, I'll get it for you. Hang on.
What happened to this? Well, that's really heartbreaking, Bern. I mean, but you know, this is part of my baby. That's heartening, man. I mean, if you see something like this, it breaks your heart.
The sunroof is so battered, it can't be repaired.
Always more bloody work. It never bloody stops.
So Bernie's got to pull out all the stops to get a replacement sunroof and have it repainted in time for the reveal. However, Leepu's broken heart leaps when he hears what the supercharger has done to the engine.
It just scares you. It shakes all the nerves in your heart. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Ginola wanted horses.
Yeah.
So now he's got 292 horsepower.
I like that. You don't need any more horses. You don't have the stable to keep him inside.
With all those horses, the car will go like the clappers, but tomorrow they will have to install the brakes to make sure it can stop. Today is the day before the Supercharger road test. This time the car will drive on a specialist test track with an unrestricted speed limit.
Yeah, Mr. Sean.
The bespoke brakes have just arrived.
Lovely. Look at them,
Oh, look.
And Sean's keen to get them fitted.
Gorgeous.
We've got the horses. Now, with this lot, we'll be able to stop as well. Rather than use an anchor. And besides, it's a little bit embarrassing driving on trying to stop and put your knuckles in the road.
Right, these are the new calipers that we got. They're called 6-pot calipers because it's got 3 pistons on either side. When you put your foot on the brake, the pistons move, push the pad onto the disc on both sides. The standard calipers on the Pulse, you've only got 1 piston and tiny little pads. So these are a lot better because you've got either side movement compared to one side movement.
Once the old brakes and pads are off, it's a straightforward job for Sean to fit the new ones. The Beauty now has some beastly power, but she won't be scary to drive.
Yeah.
This road test is going to be in Leicestershire, so the boys are hoping to get away early and drive up tonight. But Bernie, he's not so sure.
At this present moment in time, if you said to me, is he going to be ready, or am I going to grow a head of hair? I think I've got more chance of growing a head of bloody hair.
The team gets well down the to-do list when there's a rattling noise from the clutch.
It's fucked. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's fucked.
Lee's quite right, there is a noise on that clutch, and what it is, we've got to investigate that further.
It's going down rapid.
They think there might be air in the clutch hydraulic system.
Problem is, if you've got air in the system, you can compress air, but you can't compress fluid. As soon as there's air in the system, it won't compress down properly, and you won't get up a clutch pedal.
Tempers are starting to fray.
What you're doing there is it's a stop for the return. What you are doing there is a stop.
The air bleeding hasn't worked. It's Groundhog Day in the chop shop. Once again, they've got to take the gearbox out to be able to fix the clutch problem.
Got to do everything that we've just done, converting it from automatic to manual. Again, basically, take everything off, take the gearbox out, take the rear axle out to get the clutch out. It's just an absolute nightmare. Can't believe it's happened today. Out of all days, the last day before test drive.
Oh man, it's heavy. Oh!
Sean fitted this clutch only 5 days ago, and it's disintegrated already.
What are you doing, man? Well, that's the clutch lining.
Gently on the boil, Bernie gets onto his supplier.
The car has done in total 5 miles, right? There is no way on God's earth, if you had a 500 brake horsepower car, could you drive this to make the lining separate from the clutch plate. I'll be in touch. Bye-bye, mate. The clutch is going back under warranty. He said they've had a couple of them back 40, so changing it over completely. We're not being charged for it, but at least that's going to get us to the road test.
At 6 p.m, a new clutch is delivered.
Lee, this is like the last hope we've got.
Second time lucky. Hang about, lads, hang about. Bernie, mind yours.
The boys soon install the clutch, so it's all hands to the pump to replace the gearbox and transmission.
Hang on, let me get to the front, Sean.
I'm right, He's in.
That's the sound you want to hear. It's in. Whoopee, whoopee doos. Yes! We have gears! No noise, it's going in gear. Got a great bite. Instead of being near the top, the bite is near the bottom, which means the engagement is perfect. Thank Christ for that. I'm well pleased. We're going on road test.
The boys finish at 4 a.m. and then drive straight to Bruntingthorpe in Leicestershire, 100 miles away. It's an old aerodrome with a very long runway, now used for testing vehicles.
Well, we're here at a proving ground. Come on, guys, let's get this bloody car off. We're here for a purpose. We've got to be able to prove that baby. That car's going to David Ginola. He wanted horses under the bonnet. We've got a long enough bloody test track, so it's going to be a great day for us.
Bernie's confident that nothing now can go wrong.
I'm going to start it up.
Can it?
You wanted horses, people. You've got horses.
It's going like a dream, but suddenly Leepu hears something scary under the bonnet.
Here it comes. And that is proper smoking.
Yeah, look.
That is proper smoking now.
Mind you.
Get him to come in. Pop the bonnet quick, please.
Fucking hell.
Pop the bonnet, please. A little bit worried. There's a lot of pressure in the pipes. I'm quite concerned about that. I've got a feeling it could be a gasket or the start of a head gasket problem.
It's not long before Sean's worst fears are confirmed.
Now it's gone.
Head gasket!
Get lost. The steam.
There's only 3 days until David's son's birthday, and replacing the head gasket will take at least one of them. Time that was allocated for the final fit-out.
You're not going to get an engine in that time, all tested, running, no way. I think you better ring David.
There's a big question mark over finishing the car at all in time.
To get the whole thing done, is it possible to get it done Wednesday? And
the point is, the bodywork's got to be done. There's parts of the bodywork got to be done. Remember,
no interior's been done.
There's got no interior been done, right? The grill's got to be finished off. The wiring's got to be finished off. The stereo's got to be done. The headlining's got to be done. Whatever way you look at it, we haven't got the time to do it. Now, do we just cut our losses and phone him up and say, sorry, Mr. Ginola, we can't deliver?
What are you saying, Bernie? You can't do that.
Where have we got the time to do it?
Bern, we're not going down, Bern. We're not going down. No.
Leepu's still fighting, but from here, their mission, should they choose to accept it, looks impossible. Coming up, the Chop Shop superheroes pull out all the stops to get the car to France in time for the reveal.
If we don't get on the trailer in the next 10 minutes, we ain't going to make the boat.
And David and his son are getting goosebumps.
Well, I can't wait to see his face, but to see mine as well.
David Ginola has requested a Chevrolet Camaro-ish car for his son's birthday.
To have a car from Bernie and his team, this is a privilege.
But when the head gasket blew up on the road test, it looked like it was curtains for the Chop Shop.
I think you better ring David.
With only 3 days to finish and deliver the car, the Chop Shop spirit triumphs, and Lee and Sean waste no time replacing the blown head gasket.
It's actually melted the rings on number 3 and 4 cylinder. On the head gasket there's metal rings that go around to keep the compression in. It's got so hot, literally it's melted them, look.
And once the new gasket's in, it's a sprint to get the exhaust, stereo and windows fitted.
Perfect. Oh, nice.
As the deadline is so close, they will have to hand deliver the car by driving it an epic 800 miles to the south of France.
I want to get a visa for France.
For Leepu, that spells a diplomatic disaster.
So no possibility.
He can't get a visa to go.
Well, it's going to be a grand unveiling over there. And the person who designed the car is not going to be there. It's a bit disappointing, definitely. But my heart will be there with the car.
And of course, Bernie takes the news really well.
I ain't happy with it. I ain't happy with it.
I understand you're not happy, but just take it for granted. This is the reality.
It's just like a marriage. When we're together, we argue. When we're apart, we miss each other. So yeah, I'm going to miss him like mad, and I don't feel the same doing this reveal without Leepu.
But the show must go on. They work overnight sleeping in shifts so that they're ready to roll on their 18-hour journey, the day before Andrea Ginola's birthday.
It's come to the point now, if we don't get on the trailer in the next 10 minutes, we ain't going to make the boat.
This is the final car for Bernie and Leepu's Chop Shop business this year, so it's an emotional moment.
Take good care. I'll see you soon, please, Bob.
See you, Bernie. Bernie, the fine man. the man behind Chop Shop. I'm gonna miss him.
Leepu's left on his own with just his tools for company, while the team is well on its way to France.
We're at the White Cliffs of Dover. We've got one hell of a drive in front of us. There's no turning back now.
They drive right across France through the night. After 18 gruelling hours of driving, they finally make it to a vineyard near Saint-Tropez. The star's looking forward to showing his son the car.
Well, I can't wait to see his face, but to see mine as well.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well.
Your family?
My daughter Carla, Coraline, my wife, Andrea, my son.
Hello.
You're the lucky fella that's going to get the car.
I'm the lucky one.
I'm looking forward to something probably completely different. Will provide excitement and probably a bit of goosebumps.
2, 1, take away, guys.
Elle est magnifique. Amazing. It's just amazing. I love this. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Have a look inside, David.
Horse car. Another happy customer.
My friends are probably going to be quite jealous about that car. I'm very glad that my dad did that for me.
Gobsmacked, didn't know what to say. Even his son looked slightly tearful.
I can't wait to drive it because it's a great car, so can't wait.
7 weeks ago, this modestly powered Porsche 944 automatic was a city pussycat. Now it's a Mediterranean beauty, combined with a 300 horsepower beast.
Absolutely amazing. Biggest shame is Leepu weren't here to see it.
Oblivious to the excitement, Leepu is reflecting on Chop Shop's extraordinary year.
That's it.
Which has come to an end with the completion of David Ginola's Beauty and the Beast car.
It's kind of painful because we've been working all together here for a long time. And the sadness taking over all over the heart. Everything has an end.
On their return from France, the boys too can now relax and take stock of Chop Shop's incredible year, making cars for stars.
The year in Chop Shop that I've just done has been absolutely amazing, and being able to express yourself creating a one-off car.
My worst moment was when the head gasket blew on the Porsche.
I think we've done a fan-fucking-tastic job of all the cars. At the present moment, I ain't showing it, but I feel close to tears.
Bernie and the boys may be close to tears, but it's been a great time in the fast lane with Martin Kemp's Gangster Car. A muscle motor car for sports star Lawrence Dallaglio. A Rover Jet 1 for meticulous music man Jules Holland. A rocket-launching volcano car for cuddly comedian Johnny Vegas. And a tour de force for David Ginola's Beauty and the Beast car, the crowning glory to complete their Cars for Stars venture.